So thanks everyone for joining. Today, like I said, will be on releasing the past, letting go, starting all of our February free Hypnosis Thursdays are going to be on some form of releasing, letting go, forgiveness, including forgiveness of others and forgiveness of self will both be themes for this month. And for today's, we are focusing on releasing the story that we tell ourselves about our past and the way that that affects us today. So I'm going to give it just one more minute till it's officially noon, and then I'll launch into a little bit more detail about that. If anyone wants to write in the chat where you're calling from, I'd love to hear it. And it's okay if you just want to watch and not participate, that's fine too. All right, so we're officially at noon. So thanks everyone for joining, either live on Facebook or through Zoom. Today and this month of February, we're focusing on releasing, letting go, and changing our story of our past and how that affects us today. So none of us can change the past. The events that happened have happened. But what we can do is change the labels or the stories that we place on ourselves as a result of our past. So we take on an identity of what's happened to us. And in a lot of ways, we let that dictate who we are today. An example of this is if you've had difficult parents that didn't love one another or fought a lot, parents who maybe didn't connect well with you as a child, that might be impacting the way that you develop relationships in your current life. And again, I'm not saying that that's not true. That may very well have been your story of your past and the way that it's affecting you today. But what the purpose of today's session is going to be is letting go of that story, letting go of the ways that our past impacts us today and sort of holds us back, those limiting beliefs in the story that we tell. So it's going to be about changing and moving forward and releasing those pieces of our own identity that are informed by our past. And it'll help us broaden our view of ourselves so that we can be free to move into our future. For those of you who have connected with me in the past and are interested in the shamanic piece of the work that I do, this will also bring in some of those elements. So that will be fun. If you aren't interested in the shamanic piece, that's okay. It's all just imagery and things that we'll be seeing in our imagination, and you don't need to connect that to any type of spiritual ideas if you don't want to. Anyone who is new to hypnosis, this will be a nice relaxing process. You can do it standing, sitting. It doesn't need to be any sort of depth. You don't need to get down to a certain amount of hypnotized in order for it to work. In fact, you could even just do this listening and fully awake, and it would still have the same impact and same powerful ability to change you, as long as you're following along and kind of imagining in your mind's eye what I'm asking you to. So if you'd like to take a moment to silence your phones, anyone who wants to turn off their video can do so. Settle in for a moment, find that comfortable position. And take a few nice deep breaths. Imagine really releasing during that exhale. You can even sigh as you exhale. And really just let go. Allowing those exhales to be even longer than your inhale. Closing your eyes. Allowing those long exhales to really release any thoughts of the day. They'll be there for you to pick back up later if you like. Just for now, give yourself permission to really exhale any thoughts, any worries, any tensions. And with each exhale, allowing yourself to really let go and go a little bit deeper with each exhale. Relaxing yourself more and more. Imagining that you're inhaling relaxation and that those inhales of deep relaxation fill your body more and more with each inhale. With each exhale, you release and let go. Imagining, even just pretending that with each breath you go a little bit deeper. Imagining how that might feel in your body, where you might experience that feeling of relaxation. Maybe it feels light. Maybe it feels warm. For some people, the feeling of relaxation feels like an expansion. For other people, their bodies get heavy and loose. Imagine how you might feel in your body if you were experiencing the deepest levels of relaxation right now. Even just pretending that you're experiencing that is enough. Each inhale, you continue to breathe in relaxation, letting that settle in to all the places where it's needed most in your body. As you exhale, you release and let go. And deeper and deeper. Noticing, even just imagining how that feels in your body to continue to go deeper into relaxation. Good. And imagine in your mind's eye now, a beautiful place in nature. It can be a place that you've seen or been, or it can just be a place that you imagine in your mind's eye. Beautiful, peaceful place in nature. And imagine that you can take a moment looking around this beautiful place in nature. Taking in the sights, the sounds, even noticing how it smells. Feeling the place on your body. Maybe you can feel the warmth of the sun. Maybe you can feel a cool breeze on your skin. Feeling the sense of peace, deep relaxation, calm, and safety in this beautiful place in nature. Good, you're doing great. Now imagine you can see a beautiful tree, a sacred tree, one that's vibrant and ancient and even feels full of wisdom, full of life. And go ahead and sit at the base of that tree. Maybe you can imagine connecting with the tree, feeling its sense of ancient wisdom, all that it's witnessed over all the decades. And in a moment, you're going to set an intention for a guide to come and be with you next to this tree. It can be a guide in whatever way works for you. It might be your own subconscious mind. Maybe there's a guide that you already work with. Or maybe you're curious about meeting your guides and you want to invite one for the first time. So do that now in your mind. Imagine that you invite your guide, your inner self, however you imagine that, to come and be with you. Maybe you can imagine seeing the guide in your mind's eye. Or maybe you can sense the guide there with you. Or maybe you can just trust that your guide is there, eager and pleased to have been called and be part of your process. Good. And imagine now that that guide is going to take you down through the roots of the tree, down into a sacred world, into an inner space deep inside the earth. That guide takes you there now. Maybe it opens into a cave. Maybe you go down those roots and it opens into a meadow or a forest or a beach or something else. Trusting your guide to take you to just the right place for you. Good. And ask your guide now to take you to a sacred bonfire within this place. Whether you're in a cave or on a beach, in a meadow, ask your guide to take you to the element of fire, a nice, safe bonfire. Imagine that you can take a moment to feel the warmth of that fire. Listen to the crackling sounds. Smell the smoke and the burning wood. Maybe you can even imagine connecting with your mind to the element of fire. Imagining this fire is alive, is sacred, is wise, like the archetype of fire, like you're connecting to the element of fire in all the fires that have ever been. Perfect. And imagine now that you have in your hand a bunch of papers, blank papers, and a pen or a pencil, something to write with. And imagine turning and facing your guide and setting the intention to write things down about the story you tell about your past. Writing down words or phrases that you're ready to get rid of, you're ready to be free from. And while it won't change the events of the past, it will allow you to let them go and be free, to stop needing to carry them around. And so you can look at that paper, that first blank paper now, and write a phrase or a word, something from your past you've been carrying around. Maybe you've thought of yourself as unlucky. Maybe you think of yourself as having issues with abandonment. Maybe you think of yourself as being stuck because of the events in your past. Maybe you've always felt sad or angry or disconnected. Find that story, that phrase, that word that you tell about yourself because of your past, and write that word down on that paper, that word or that phrase. You are not your past. Those are things that happened, and you get to choose to be free. You get to keep telling a new story of yourself. And so ask your guide now to really infuse that belief, that story that you have inside yourself with that paper, using the magic of your imagination to move that belief all into the paper. And when you're ready, you can throw that paper into the fire. Fire is a sacred element, a powerful element. It transmutes, it transforms, it changes things. And when you throw that word, that paper with that phrase into the fire, it will go up in smoke. It will be released for good. And you get to decide not to carry it anymore, not to be burdened by the hardship. Good. Now do the same thing with the next word or phrase, something from your past that you continually tell yourself about your current life. Maybe you're not good at this or that. What beliefs are holding you back? Write it down and throw it into the fire and have your guide help you release it completely. Doing that again and again with each word or phrase, imagining who and what you might be in your life without that burden, without that anchor of the past. Letting go of those labels, those stories you tell of yourself, those stories that no longer serve you. Powerfully releasing them into the fire and letting them go. Perfect. You're doing so well. Write those last words down now, words or phrases, letting the last of them go into the fire. Your guide there to help you. Feeling a sense of freedom with each one as you release it into the fire. Feeling yourself becoming lighter, brighter, unburdened. Good. Imagine now how it feels, taking a moment to notice that feeling of being lighter and brighter and unburdened. Smile to yourself. You and your powerful mind have decided to update the story of you. You get to choose a new story now. So turn and face your guide. And ask your guide to tell you some words or phrases to replace what you've burned away, what you've released and let go of, offering you new words that are kind and compassionate and true about you. Smile and really take in those new words, those new phrases, those new beliefs. Feeling them hit home, feeling them finding a new place, replacing all of those places where those old beliefs used to be, replacing them with these new words, with a new story, with a new truth about you. Good. Now imagine yourself in the very near future, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, just sitting or standing, smiling as you think these new thoughts about yourself. As you begin to feel that new story taking root, showing up in your life. Notice how good it feels. Notice yourself sitting or standing there in the new future, feeling so good with these new thoughts. Notice your posture, how you hold yourself and your body, feeling a sense of relaxed breathing as you think all those lovely thoughts as they pass through your mind. Doesn't it feel so good? Perfect. Now imagine a time a little further into the future, maybe in a few weeks or a month, maybe a couple of months down the road. Imagine yourself sitting or standing there, noticing how changed you've become, how much lighter and brighter you feel, how confident you've become in yourself. All those positive thoughts, all those positive words and phrases, that new story of you has really paid off. You're feeling better about yourself, and that's rippling out in so many unexpected ways into your life. All these positive changes in ways you wouldn't have even imagined, because these new thoughts you think about yourself, the new beliefs, the new story of you, unburdened, fresh. You've been walking around, experiencing that, and it's rippled out into your life in so many positive and beneficial ways. Notice how good that feels. These loving, compassionate thoughts you have of yourself. Maybe there were tricky and difficult things that happened in your past, but you can feel that sense of freedom from them now. Growing your own inner strength, confidence, your own inner wisdom, shining a new light within yourself that is free from that past because you've chosen to release it. You've chosen a new identity, one full of positive words and positive thoughts and positive feelings. You've given yourself that gift. Feel how good that feels. Good. Now imagine yourself back looking at the fire again. Take a moment to offer gratitude to the element of fire for helping you release all those old beliefs. Trusting the fire to have transformed and transmuted, recycling all that old energy up into the universe, up into the smoke, for it will be changed into something positive, releasing you of that burden of the past. Good. Now face your guide and offer your guide thanks and gratitude. And take a moment to ask your guide if they have one more message for you. Maybe it's a feeling or a thought or a word. Maybe they just look at you and smile. Perfect. And now ask your guide to bring you back up through those tree roots, up through the tree, up to that place where you were sitting at the base of the tree, all the way back into your body and into the present moment, into the here and now. You get to bring that new story up with you into the present moment. Looking forward to all the ways that it will show up in the days and weeks and months to come. And I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you'll be awake, alert, and aware, feeling curious and looking forward to how all of those positive thoughts and phrases will show up for you, how that new sense of freedom and release will show up for you. 1, bringing all of that positive back into the present. 2, coming back into the here and now, back into your body. 3, beginning to notice the sounds inside the room and outside the room. 4, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, and stretching into the body. 5, eyes open, awake, alert, and aware. Awake, alert, and aware. So welcome back. I hope that felt positive and freeing for you. I hope that you look forward to how all of that will show up in the days and weeks to come.